new portfolio review video. I started this series off a couple months ago and it seems that people really enjoyed it, so I'm keeping it going. Today I'll be reviewing 3 designers' portfolios and sharing my advice, thoughts, suggestions to help them make tweaks to those portfolios to better align with their goals and get the kind of work that they're after. All of the portfolios that I review in this series come through on a submission basis, so if you'd like to submit yours for review in a future episode, then there'll be a link down below in the description box. The first portfolio I have to review is the one on the screen behind me. This is Connor's portfolio. He is a designer who's studying a master's degree in digital media principles, but doing small pieces of freelance illustration and graphic design work on the side, and he's been doing that for about 2 years. He'd like to move more into user experience and interaction design and work at an agency of some kind. That's what he's looking for advice on, is how to make his portfolio more applicable to UX and interaction design roles. Let's take a look. The first thing that I'll say about Connor's portfolio is that I love this bright colour in the header space. I feel like portfolios are often quite white because they are meant to be like a blank canvas to fill your work with. But yeah, having this bright pop of colour is really great for making an impact when someone first reaches your site. Connor has this introduction with an illustration, I'm guessing, of himself and his name and what he does, which is a great start. You'd be surprised at how many people don't put what it is that they do. Then he shows his work. This is interesting. It seems like something might be a bit broken here with your site, Connor. It might be good to take a look at that. Either these are blank projects or something is, pushing off this alignment a bit. If you're wanting to get into more of web and interaction design, then little details like this are really important to pay attention to, because someone who works in that field will definitely notice this. I think on the contact form, I would suggest putting some reasons for clients or potential employers to contact you. Say what kind of work you're after, say that you're looking to help them with their projects of this and this nature or whatever. And I think that will help with selling yourself a bit more throughout your page. I noticed as well an interesting detail here underneath your work. You've got these buttons to view some PDFs. This one says professional portfolio, which makes me wonder what this is. Like, is this website not your professional portfolio? In which case, what is it? That seems a bit confusing. So I might look at the wording there. In the projects themselves that you have displayed on your site, there's not a whole lot of detail. Like, there is this paragraph and it says when you did it and who the client was. But in some of them, I think it was this one here, there was a lot more detail. So this one, you go into the brief and the research and show a lot more behind the scenes. That's really good, and I would encourage you to do that for all of the projects in your portfolio. I noticed that, I think it was in this development portfolio, you had a lot more of that background information. So you obviously have the content, and I think it would be a good idea to display that in the projects on your site, because people are much more likely to, these are nice, thumbnails that people are being encouraged to click through. So I would put your best work and your best selling of that work into these projects here. Because you've said you want to get into doing more UX work as well, I would definitely say you need more of that kind of work in your portfolio. Right now, I probably wouldn't feel confident hiring you for a web design or user experience role, because there's only one web project in here basically. The rest are more branding or illustration, and obviously you've got great skills in those things, but if it is more web design that you're looking for, then I would suggest you tailor your portfolio to include more projects that are relevant to that. Or perhaps you could combine your illustration and web design and show how you're using illustration to communicate on a landing page, for example. Those small tweaks to the messaging, I suppose, is really what it is, of how you show your skills to apply to the job that you want to be going for. Next up, we have Dahlia, who is from the US. She has spent a bit of time doing in-house production work for a college, like brochures and maps and floor plans, etc. But she's now learning web dev, which is exciting, I am too, and wanting to get a different job for in-house work for a company. So the very first thing that I'll point out here, like I noted on Connor's portfolio, was great that he had his name and what he does. I really want you to add your name and what you do to the top of your portfolio, because the very first thing I see when I get to your site is current and past work, which is kind of a redundant statement, because your portfolio is always going to be work that you're doing or have done. So change that out for your name and the kind of design that you specialize in, and I think that'll help. You've chosen a really nice theme for your site. I will say that. I really like this little parallax scroll here. Scrolling through your work, I liked that because you said you worked in the production side. I've done a bit of this in the past, and I know that all these things like detailing the colors and the exact sizes of things and all that specifications takes a lot of time, and you really have to have a keen eye for detail for it. So I like that you included not only the pictures of the finished signage that you've designed, but also the specification pages as well. I I think that's good, and it shows a bit of background into your process too. Some of the projects you have in here I think could benefit from photography. This brochure, for example, instead of showing it as this flat PDF of what you created, you designed it to be printed, so I think it'd be better if it was shown in your portfolio as a printed piece. So get a printed copy and set it up, with on a white background or something, and take some nice photos of it. It's pretty easy to do, and I think it would really help bring this work to life a bit more and show it in context. It would also be better, I think, if you could zoom in on some of the details. So for example, this map you've created is pretty small. I can't really see all the work that went into it very well, whereas if you had like a close-up photo of that in the brochure, or even just a zoomed in digital version, that could really help show you the quality of your work, I suppose. I think photographs would really help unify and make this overview page of your portfolio a lot better as well. I think it'd be more interesting to see the finished product there. Same actually for these PowerPoint slides, which is another project you have. Instead, I'd suggest you show them on a screen so that when you're viewing the work, you're viewing it in the context that it was created for. And make sure you're being very, very selective with exactly which works you show as well. So we only want to see your very, very best slides. Like what I was saying with Connor, I think your portfolio could benefit more from talking about your process. You do have these little descriptions at the top of each project, which is good, but you could go deeper into what was expected of you and how you handled the brief. In the case of this logo design in particular, I would take off I was asked to create a quick logo. That makes it sound like it wasn't something that you worked very hard on. It was just something that you did quickly, so I'd question why it's in your portfolio if that's the case. I don't know, just something to think about, the language that you use to describe your projects. You've also got an about and contact page on your site, which is always good. I would recommend that you take this first line from your about page and bring that onto the home page, because that's a really strong statement that you've got 10 years of experience of managing projects from creation to the installed deliverable. That's pretty cool, and so I would bring that more out into the front and center. Okay, the last portfolio we have to look at today is by Jalen, who is from Vancouver, Canada. Jalen is 1 month away from graduating, so congratulations. I don't actually know when you sent me this email, so you might have already graduated by now, but he's hoping to get work at an in-house or agency design firm, hopefully within the US, and wants to focus on branding and packaging. So let's take a look and see Jalen's portfolio. So at first glance, I already love the template and the theme you've used. It's very simple, but it lets your work speak, and I liked your use of copy to bring in personality. Like I was saying with Connor's, how that nice bright yellow color really made it a bit special. I like that you have this little asterisk to explain what you do, and then as you scroll down, near the bottom here, you've got this cute, I am sensing some creative chemistry. I think that's good to inject some fun and some personality into your portfolio in that way. Right off the start, I would say that if you're looking for work in the US, I would maybe take off this focus on being based in Vancouver. If someone's looking through a bunch of applications for a job and yours is one of many that they've been sent, this could be a reason for them to discount you because it seems like too much hassle that you're based there or whatever. I don't know. I would take that off and let your work speak for itself so that they're really excited about hiring you, and then you can think about moving down from Vancouver, if it makes sense. Great having your resume here to just see where you've studied and what you've been working with, who your clients have been. It just shows me that you've done something. You know, I'm not going to go and inspect all of these clients individually, but it's good to have them there. What I really love is that you've detailed your design process and how you work. This is something that I definitely need to do on my own side because I'm wanting to get more freelance work now. But I like that you've included your process and it takes you through very clearly the 3 steps of how you work. And if we click through to your work, I think, if I remember correctly, this is represented in there too. I really love your project pages, by the way. I think it's great that you've got an image of the finished product up the top, and then you can get into the details and see how you worked on it and how you came to this solution. So yeah, you've got the discovery phase and the design phase in here, and then you're showing the deliverables. And I like that you're showing the design system that's used rather than just the finished product. It shows that you're thinking about the details, just like Dahlia and the production specifications. And Dahlia, if you're watching, this is what I meant about photography as well. Jalen could have just showed a flat version of this box, but it doesn't just look beautiful to see the finished thing put together. And I know it must have been a lot of work to mock this up and get the nice background to take the photos, get them well lit, but it's definitely worth it. It just shows your work in a much better light. I really like the way you've organized your project description. I think creating this hierarchy makes it really easy to skim down and like dip in and read a little bit here and there. I don't really have a whole lot of changes to suggest for you, Jalen, because I think you've done a really great job, but maybe adding categories like what you worked on within each project, so that way if I'm in a rush and looking to check out if you've got relevant experience for the job that I'm hiring for, I can quickly see, okay, packaging, I'm definitely going to click on this one. Or if I really want to get the best insight into your typography work, I know which one to click on. And again, like we said, taking off the Vancouver from the top there, if you're looking to get a job in the US, could be a good idea. Those are all the portfolios I have time to review today, unfortunately, but if you'd like to get yours reviewed in a future episode in this series, then check the link down below. I think it's charliemarie.com/portfolio review. And submit yours there. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button because I make new videos about design every single Saturday and then vlogs of my life here in London every Tuesday. So hopefully I will see you in the next one.